Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music. Welcome to my channel. Today in Fingerboard Geometry, we'll be covering major triads on strings 3, 4, and 5. First, we'll look at some fingerings, and then we'll do some exercises. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it. All right, today we're talking about triads on strings 3, 4, and 5. Let's go over the triads for the root D. So I'm going to start with root position D, and that means that the root is in the bottom of the chord. So here's a D chord. So that's 1, 3, 5. Now I'm moving on to first inversion. That would be 3, 5, 1. And next we have second inversion. That's 5, 1, 3. So those were all D chords. Now let's try G chords. So I'm going to start with G here with the 5th in the bottom. So we have 5, 1, 3. So this is a G chord, 5, 1, 3. And that was second inversion. So now we're going to root position, and here's a G chord. Root in the bottom, 1, 3, 5. And then we're going to move up the neck here. For first inversion G, that means the third's in the bass or the bottom, and that's going to be 3, 5, 1. And now finally, let's do A. So A, we're going to start out with first inversion. So that's first inversion A chord, 3, 5, 1. Next we have second inversion A, that's 5, 1, 3. And finally root position A, 1, 3, 5. Now that we've looked at 3 inversions for each of the chords, that would be D, G, and A, let's find out how we can combine these inversions to create groupings for 1, 4, and 5 chords within a key. So since we started off with chords that are actually in the key of D, that would be D, G, and A. Those are respectively the 1, 4, and 5 chords in the key of D. Let's learn how we can combine those to create some usable shapes for navigating 1, 4, and 5 progressions. As many of you know, the 1, 4, and 5 are the 3 primary chords of any key, so it's important to be able to find those chords quickly. And we can get to them a little quicker if we can see a close voicing for the next chord. So now, if I'm playing D, like this, root position D, the closest G would be like this. So here's G in second inversion, and then A is right here in first inversion. So we have 1, 4, 5. Now let's move on to the next grouping. I've got D in first inversion, and so I'm going to use the root position of G and the second inversion of A. So again we have 1, 4, and 5. Finally, I'm moving over to where I have the second inversion D. And now I'm going to use the first inversion G and the root position A. So here's 1, 4, 5. Let's try this in another key. All right, let's do the key of F. So the chords in the key of F are F, that's 1, B flat, that's 4, and C, that's 5. So I'm going to start off with F in second inversion. That's here. Then I'm going to go to B flat, that's first inversion. Looks like that. So we have third in the bottom here for the B flat. And then we have root position C. Notice I have an open 3rd string or open G string for this C chord. So 1, 4, 5. Now let's move up to the next set of inversions. I have F in the root position, and my 4 chord is B flat in 2nd inversion, and my 5 chord is C in 1st inversion. And then I have F in 1st inversion. So there's F 1st inversion. And then I have B flat in root position. And then I have C in 2nd inversion. So that's 1, 4, 5. Now, let's get a look at the exercises. So for our first exercise, we're just going to play triads using all 3 inversions, and we're going to follow the circle of fifths. So if you're not sure what the circle of fifths is, please check out my video on the circle of fifths. I will put the circle of fifths order in this video so that you know what it is. Essentially, we're going to start at C, and we're going to move around through all 12 roots. So we start at C, and we play all 3 inversions of a C chord on strings 3, 4, 5, like this. Here's C, root position, 1st inversion, 2nd inversion. Then we go to the next root in the circle of fifths. That would be G. So you could start either on 2nd inversion or 1st inversion G. I'm going to go ahead and start with 1st inversion G just because I want to demonstrate the fact that we can use open strings. So here's 3rd in the bass or 1st inversion G, and then 2nd inversion G, and then root position G. We keep going around the circle. So the next root in the circle of fifths is D, so then we go to D and do the same thing. D, 1st inversion D, 2nd inversion D. Let's get a look at the exercise. In the next exercise, we're going to play 1, 4, and 5 through every key, starting on C, moving through the circle of fifths. So let's start with C. We'll do a couple keys just to get you started, and then you can get a look at the exercise. So if I'm in the key of C, I have C, the 1 chord, and then my 4 chord is F, 5 chord is G, and so that's my first grouping. And then I go to C in 1st inversion. My 4 chord is root position F, and my 5 chord is 2nd inversion G. And then finally, my last grouping is C. That's 2nd inversion. And then I have F. That's 1st inversion. And then I have G in root position. Then you continue around the circle. let's do one more root before we get a look at the whole exercise. Our next key in the circle of fifths is the key of G. G is the 1 chord, C is the 4 chord, and D is the 5 chord. I'm going to start with G in second inversion. C would be in first inversion, and D is in root position. Next, we move on to G in root position, C in second inversion, and D in first inversion. And finally, we have G in first inversion, C in root position, and D in second inversion. Now, let's get a look at the exercise. That's it for major triads on strings 3, 4, and 5. I'm Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music, and I hope to see you back on my channel soon.